What really happened in the Exorcist movie?
What about The Exorcist?
The Exorcist was inspired by a real case from 1949 involving a 13 or 14-year-old boy known publicly as Roland Doe or Robbie Mannheim. The boy was from Maryland and his real identity was kept secret for decades. His name was later reported to be Roland Hunkler. William Peter Blatty first heard about the case while he was a student at Georgetown University in 1950. One of his professors told him about a recent exorcism case involving a young boy who had supposedly undergone dozens of exorcisms. The story stayed with Blatty for years before he eventually turned it into a novel. According to the story, strange events began after the boy's aunt, who was interested in the spiritualism, introduced him to a Ouija board. After she died, the family reportedly began hearing scratching sounds in the walls, seeing furniture move by itself, and witnessing the boy being thrown from his bed. Blatty originally wanted to write a non-fiction book about the case, but very few people involved would speak to him directly. Eventually, he decided to fictionalize the story instead, which became the 1971 novel. Later, when the film was being developed by Blatty and Friedkin, were reportedly given access to diaries and notes from priests who had been involved in the original exorcism. The Exorcist came out in 1973 and was directed by William Friedkin, based of course on the novel by William Peter Blatty. It was made for about $12 million and eventually grossed more than $441 million worldwide, making it one of the biggest horror films ever made. The production, however, was so chaotic that many people believed that the movie was cursed. The shoot was originally meant to last around 85 days but ended up taking over 200 days. The budget nearly tripled. Several people connected to the movie died either during or shortly after filming, including actors and crew members. 9 deaths for either directly or indirectly connected to the filming. One of the most disturbing facts is that actor Paul Bateson, who briefly appeared in the film as a radiology technician, was later convicted of murder. Linda's grandfather died, the assistant camera's wife had a baby that died, the man who refrigerated the set died, the janitor who took care of the building was shot and killed. Actress Linda Blair was only 12 years old when she was cast as Regan.
That's much too vulgar display of power, Karis.
Hundreds of girls auditioned and several well-known actresses either turned down the role or were not allowed to audition because the material was considered too disturbing. One shocking fact is that Linda Blair and Alan Burstyn both suffered real back injuries while filming. Burstyn was injured during the scene where Regan throws Chris backward across the room, and the scream you hear in the movie is reportedly real pain. Blair was also injured during scenes involving the violently shaking bed. So why did the demon choose to possess Regan McNeil, a 12-year-old girl?
Your mother sucks cocks in hell, Karis, you faithless slime.
Folklore says that demons, despite all the evil deeds and violence they influence people to commit, are actually very cowardly, so they choose a vulnerable target. In the scenes where Regan's room was terribly cold and we were able to see the breath of the characters, well, the only way to see the breath is to actually have them in a very cold room. For this reason, the child's bedroom was duplicated and built inside a cocoon, which was refrigerated to about 20 degrees below zero. And because the lights kept warming it up, they could only shoot for a few minutes at a time. The exorcism sequence alone took...
There seems to be an alien pubic hair in my gin.
The exorcism sequence alone took about a month to complete. The room was designed to make everyone miserable. The cast had to work in painfully cold temperatures while wearing thin clothing and repeating emotionally exhausting scenes over and over again. The main house set actually burned down after a bird flew into a circuit breaker and started a fire. The strange part is that Regan's bedroom, where most of the possession scenes happened, was the only room left untouched. That became one of the biggest reasons people started calling the production cursed. After this, some crew members quit, and others said they'd only continue working if the set was blessed. There were several instances where priests were called in. The woman behind the demon voice was actress Mercedes McCambridge, and she went to extreme lengths to make the voice sound disturbing. She reportedly swallowed raw eggs, chain-smoked cigarettes, and even drank whiskey to roughen her voice and make it sound harsher and more aggressive. Director William Friedkin also had her bound to a chair during recording sessions so it would sound like the demon was physically struggling against restraints. Friedkin later said strange sounds would come out of her throat during recording sessions, including wheezing, whistles, creaks, and multiple sounds happening at once. That helped create unnatural feeling of the demon voice in the movie. Crew members described those late night recording sessions as genuinely unsettling. It was not just a normal voiceover session. McCambridge was often recording alone in the dark, sounding like she was in pain or being attacked, which added to the feeling that something evil was happening in the room. The director William Friedkin had a reputation for using extreme methods to get realistic performances. He slapped actor William O'Malley before filming one emotional scene so he would look genuinely shaken. And he sometimes fired guns with blank rounds on set without warning actors first to get authentic reactions. The mechanical effects were also brutal. Linda Blair had to wear a special harness and bodysuit with wires attached underneath her nightgown to create the levitation scenes. The moving bed and the violent shaking were all done practically with no CGI. The Exorcist spider walk scene, initially deleted from the film's release, was restored later, delighting fans who consider it a favorite sequence. Director William Friedkin felt the scene was a big special effect too early in the story, but later reinserted the scene using CGI to erase wires. William Friedkin deleted the scene before the film's December release. He later admitted that another reason for omitting the scene was that there was no way to hide the wires from view at the time. Jason Miller almost did not get the role of Father Karras. Another actor had already been signed, but Friedkin changed his mind after seeing Miller's audition. Miller had actually studied to become a priest for several years, which gave him his performance extra authenticity. The moving bed and violent shaking were all done practically with no CGI or logical effects. Now we're gonna talk about the release. When the film was released, people reacted in ways that sound unbelievable today. Reports claimed viewers fainted, vomited, ran out of theaters, and even needed medical treatment. Some theaters reportedly kept bath bags nearby. Ugh. And some theaters even had ambulances at the ready. There were even a few requests for exorcisms. The movie caused major controversy because many people thought it was too disturbing to receive an R rating. Some cities tried to ban it outright, and it was banned or restricted in parts of countries like the United Kingdom. Ironically, that only made people want to see it even more. It also became the first horror film ever nominated for Academy Award for Best Picture. It ended up receiving 10 Oscar nominations and won 2, including Best Adapted Screenplay. While the role earned her a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actress, it also became an inescapable source of frustration that ultimately hindered her career. The film's legacy as one of the scariest movies ever made pales in comparison to the real-life horrors Linda Blair endured as a result of starring in it. Linda Blair suffered a spinal fracture due to a mechanical failure while filming a scene where her character Regan McNeil levitates and thrashes violently. That fracture later developed into scoliosis years later after Blair re-injured her back during a motorcycle scene in another film. The famous steps in the movie were built in 1895. The Exorcist film in 1973 has elevated the steps to national and global levels under the name of the Exorcist Steps. Located in Georgetown between M Street and Prospect Street, there are 97 steps altogether. As for the future of the franchise, there is another new Exorcist film currently in development from Mike Flanagan. It is expected in 2027 and is not connected to the recent The Exorcist Believer storyline. So, what do you think? Did the strain on the set result in paranoia, which followed into whispered rumors that reached the audiences before they even went to watch the movie? Or was the movie really cursed?